of engineering software for designing, constructing, and operating infrastructure. So you may have come across solutions like MicroStation, ProjectWise, DAD, and Plaxis, to name a few. So before jumping into the discussion, I thought I'd share some feedback from a company who's using both Navisworks and SYNCHRO 4D together. Monica, who is the CEO at FreshCon, shared their experiences. I won't read the entire slide all out, but I'd like to mention how Monica outlines that SYNCHRO offers a comprehensive solution when it comes to BIM 4D. Monica goes on to say, SYNCHRO is FreshCon's top pick for reviewing construction programs and creating 4D simulations, offering greater flexibility and capabilities, allowing FreshCon to illustrate and review construction schedules without any constraints. So the entire SYNCHRO solution comprises of the following. First, the desktop application SYNCHRO 4D, which is the 4D planning and virtual construction software. Then there's SYNCHRO Modeler, will help to divide a large model into constructible chunks together. It can be used for BIM model-based scheduling and cost management. Then we have the cloud solution, SYNCHRO Control. It is effective for construction information management and communication between the stakeholders. All the relevant project data can be stored in a single cloud-based repository, and the construction management teams can make driven decisions in real time. Finally, to take the information from SYNCHRO Control to site through handheld devices, we have SYNCHRO Field, which is a mobile app-based technology and enables communication between the office and the field. So for today, we'll focus on SYNCHRO 4D. So what do we have on the agenda for today? So first, I'll show the workflow between Navisworks and SYNCHRO 4D. I'll then outline and share some videos and discuss 5 ways SYNCHRO 4D enhances your planning and scheduling Navisworks workflow, before sharing some case studies from existing SYNCHRO users. Lastly, we have some slides on other webinars coming up and how to contact us, before finishing with any questions. So before we dive into the main topic today, I'd like to get an understanding of what software people are using today. I won't use any apps like Slido as we have a limited time today, but as you can comment the number that corresponds to the answer that relates to you. So for example, if you're using Navisworks today, put 1, put 2 for SYNCHRO 4D. If you're both using Navisworks and SYNCHRO 4D together already, put 3. If you're using other solutions like Bexel or Primavera, put 4. And if you're using none, but you joined today because you're interested in learning more about 4D planning and scheduling, put 5. So I'll give you a couple of moments for everybody to put the answers through there. So I'm just looking at my other screen at the comments coming through. So a lot of people saying 3 already, 2, 3. Great, thank you for, you can continue answering into that now throughout the conversation, and I'll move on to the next slide. So let's first look at how we can export and import to SYNCHRO 4D. SYNCHRO 4D can communicate with many different data formats, both for 3D modeling and scheduling tools. We regularly hear that this is one of the main advantages of people using SYNCHRO 4D today. You can see here in the graph that SYNCHRO 4D can import multiple file formats such as MS Project, P6, IFG, and of course Revit and Navisworks. So since this is the main topic today, let's see how we can export from Navisworks to SYNCHRO 4D. So once you have installed and added the SYNCHRO plugin for Navisworks, which is a free download, the plugin can be found in Export Add-ins. Looking at the SYNCHRO plugin settings, we can add additional resources, including unique IDs for new 3D objects. So once we're happy with what we've selected, we can close it and go back and export it out. So we have to give our file a name, and now we've exported the project. Before we do anything else, we save our project in case there's any additional changes. We give our file a name. We're then in SYNCHRO 4D. We go to File, Import, and we choose our file. The model will then appear in the 3D view window. So 3D objects can be turned on and off. The plugin has also created material resources and transferred element properties. So it's as easy as that to export from Navisworks into SYNCHRO 4D. So the main topic today, what are these 5 ways? The first one we'll discuss is modifying your 4D schedule. So working on a 4D project, there are typically thousands of tasks which are arranged hierarchically under different labels. With SYNCHRO 4D, you can add a task under a different label in the form of a child task. In this example, the piles will be constructed in 3 areas. So we'll add 3 corresponding child tasks. Once we've done this, we can then edit the duration for our schedule. So after we've done this, we can select all the tasks, which we're doing right now, and then we can add a logical relationship by clicking the link as a chain in the top ribbon bar. SYNCHRO has a full-blown CPM engine, and by adding the logical relationship between the newly added task and the schedule, we can update the schedule automatically. Click and reschedule, the WS has been updated. This makes the schedule more optimized and efficient while reducing the time you may have spent manually just in the scheduling upstream or downstream in Navisworks Timeliner. The next way is filtering out tasks. So filtering out tasks is very easy in SYNCHRO. We've already mentioned SYNCHRO's CPM engine in the last slide talking about modifying your schedule. So we can calculate the critical path task and filter on to critical tasks. This allows you to have more control over your schedule and review the critical tasks easily. Additionally, when you have your review meetings, you want to see the upcoming tasks in the coming weeks. Being able to filter out tasks allows for a better coordination and collaboration with the other stakeholders involved in the project. The next way for discussion is scenario comparison. So with SYNCHRO, you can bring in an updated schedule and create different baselines with different versions of the schedule. Having the ability to add multiple baselines, we can see plan versus actual or compare different scenarios side by side. This allows us to choose the most optimized schedule. So here we're comparing 3 scenarios. So before finalizing the final planning schedule, we can create multiple baselines and compare their progression before deciding the one to adopt. Here we can see the Gantt chart contains 3 baselines in different colors. The 3 DD views on screen graphically represent the progressions corresponding to either of these baselines respectively. Another way of looking at this is the 2 baselines may not necessarily represent a hypothetical scenario. So these can represent a plan versus actual comparison. So in the real world, the schedule can change. We always see changes. If the values are updated to reflect actual changes, then this reflects the current schedule, so it can be compared with the original planned schedule. Another aspect is 4D simulation, and the next way we'll discuss is logistic planning. So generally in workflows where 4D is not incorporated, a lot is left for the imagination, and that is a challenging task. So SYNCHRO provides a huge library of equipment. If there's one particular equipment that you cannot find in the library, you can import any CAD geometry as an equipment. SYNCHRO provides official feedback or tells the story of the construction project before the real construction actually begins. When this story is communicated with the contractors, they can raise their concerns and certain issues that can be resolved as a preemptive measure rather than going into firefighting mode during the course of construction. So what can be done inside SYNCHRO with respect to animating equipment? You can import the equipment model and edit the placement position to reflect its correct position during a task, as we just seen with a crane example there. We can also simulate the movement of a construction-related vehicle inside Synchro. You can simply create a 3D path and make the vehicle follow that path. So here we're just seeing a concrete truck arriving on site and delivering the concrete for construction. The last way we will discuss today is animation within Synchro 4D. So the advanced editor in Synchro allows you to control the pace of the animation and change the camera angles. So let's say there's a critical part of the construction that requires attention. The animation can be slowed down for a certain installation to allow the stakeholders to get more information. So here in this example, we stopped our animation, we're extending out our camera angles, we're making it longer, and then we're also changing the focus time, so we're moving and jumping ahead into our schedule. So in addition, we can add multiple 3D windows. So in this example, we've added two 3D windows. We can move them around, we can reposition them. And then we can also add additional information like the tasks, the timeline, or the Gantt chart. So we saw this model earlier when we talked about logistic planning. So we've created our animation. So let's take a look at what can be produced within Synchro 4D itself. The animation is a final product that we can share among contractors and stakeholders that are involved in the project, so they can gain an understanding of the construction sequence. You can see the equipment movement, the entire construction sequence, erection, and casting, and the progress based on the timeline is also visible. There's also an option of Synchro integrating with a real-time rendering engine like Bentley's Lumen RT, which gives out excellent quality, realistic renderings. So here's the same project of the building construction being rendered using Lumen RT. We can see the quality of the presentation is now visible. We can add trees, we can add people, and we can also simulate cars movement in Lumen RT. So that was very quickly going through some of the 5 ways that Synchro 4D can enhance your Navisworks 4D planning and scheduling workflow. I've now picked out 3 case studies that I want to share, and I picked these case studies as I believe they've demonstrated some of the ways Synchro 4D can enhance your workflow that we just discussed. So the first case study is from Tantec 4D, a digital engineering company in Ireland. So one of the largest projects is a high-rise building on College Road in Croydon in London. The project will produce the tallest modular built high-rise in the world with 2 towers, a 49-story tower, Tower A, and a 34-story tower, Tower B. So to ensure successful project delivery, Tantec 4D wanted to simulate the construction of high-rise to test not only the robustness of the developed schedule, but also the completeness of the 3D models. They wanted to clearly demonstrate the construction sequencing of the 2,000 modular units being installed on both towers. The team used Synchro to create a 4D BIM model that supports several aspects of the project, including sequencing of works, health and safety management, risk mitigation, logistic management, constructability analysis, and spatial planning. The model also helped them develop a crane lifting strategy, which would have been almost impossible to do without 4D technology, due to the project site, complex footprint, and all the surrounding buildings. So here, Synchro 4D's logistic planning capability is playing an important role here. By communicating tasks in a highly visual way, they can increase productivity, improve safety awareness, and reduce the risk of time delays. So Connor Tansey, who's the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder at Candec 4D, said, by implementing SYNCHRO 4D into their business, they've increased their client base by 100% in the past year. The next case study is a joint venture of Morrison and Clark for the new Golden State Warriors basketball stadium, Chase Center. So this project is based in California. So the Warriors gave the joint venture a firm deadline for completion. It was the start of the 2019-2020 basketball season. That meant the joint venture team had to work quickly. The Chase Center's construction schedule involved more than 36,900 individual tasks and over 92,800 relationships. I say being able to modify the schedule and adding child tasks, linking them as a chain and update easily was extremely important to them. Visualizing the construction schedule using SYNCHRO allowed Morrison Clark to develop a fast, efficient process to identify issues and assign responsibility for resolving them. So with an efficient data flow and monthly reviews, the team created 1,674 critical schedule activities. The second way we discussed was filtering out tasks, and 151,635 individual resource elements in the 4D visualization. So we talked about SYNCHRO's animation capabilities. So on the left-hand side, we have the animation which was produced from SYNCHRO 4D, and on the right-hand side, we have the animation when it was exported to Luminosity, which is being played on a loop. So this is the Chase Center. The final visualization includes more than 175 steel activities, 84 concrete core sequences, 20 major mechanical, electrical, and plumbing equipment components, and 18 field and logistics equipment elements with 92 associates paths. So during 18 audit meetings, key stakeholders identified and addressed 468 potential sequences issues. The 4D model enabled Morrison Clark to improve construction efficiency in several ways, including maximizing the efficiency of the tower and crawler cranes by animating their movements. Automation within the project saved the team an estimated 720 resource hours. Though Chase Center was one of the most logistically challenging sports and entertainment projects in the United States, development and construction never fell behind schedule, and it was completed in 31 months in time for the NBA preseason events. Our last case study is from Solid Support in Australia. The Alpha Street Bridge, which is a new pedestrian and cyclist bridge over the Parramatta River, which is approximately 24 kilometers west of central Sydney. So I have a quote from Alexander Javetsky, a BIM manager at Solid Support. The animation was done to assist the tendering company in demonstrating their methodology, highlighting site establishment, crane locations, temporary works, and management of the general public. SYNCHRO saved 50% in time executing animated tender submission, and Alexander said that SYNCHRO 4D is now the go-to software for tenders. So using SYNCHRO 4D, they linked the 3D model with the tender program of work to create a 4D simulation video. Solid Support relied on the software's 3D path feature to create a detailed animation of the installation of the main bridge, arch and crane, actually showing how the bridge was to be installed inside. Solid Support also had to consider sedimentation and tree protection, so they needed to test different construction scenarios. Scenario comparisons, the last way we need to highlight from our 5 ways from the 3 case studies. And mitigation strategies to minimize the impact of sedimentation to the environment, such as the type of sediment control measures needed. So Jim Gao, a BIM manager at Solid Support, said, SYNCHRO offers a power analysis capabilities that enables us to identify potential issues and make adjustments to the construction plan in real time. This can help reduce costs and improve the overall efficiency of the planning process. So you can check out all these case studies and others at go.virtuosity.com/SYNCHRO case studies. So I have a couple of more links coming up. I will post all these links in the comment section in a minute. So now we've went through the 5 ways. The last question I want to ask you all is, what way did you find would be the most beneficial to add to your workflow? Similar to how we answered earlier, but this time we'll start with A. So at least it allows me after the session I can read all your comments and relate your answers to the questions I asked. So what A is it was modifying your schedule, B for filtering out tasks, C is with scenario comparison, D if it was logistic planning, and E it was animation. For F, if it was other capabilities that we didn't highlight today that Synchro 4D provides. Again, I'll give you a couple of moments to put in an answer. See all the comments. So A, C, great. E, the animation is quite important to people. E, so it's a mixture of everything, and some people are saying everything is most beneficial. But again, please continue putting in your answers. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback after the session when I can go through them in more time. So what's coming up? So we have a number of webinars coming up, which I'm really looking forward to. So tomorrow morning, my colleague Pratik will talk about going beyond Gantt charts, learn how Synchro 4D is transforming construction project management. It's 11 a.m. IST, which is approximately 5:30 a.m. UK time. So it's quite early, but again, you can register for this webinar, and after the webinar, you will get a recording in your email. On March 5th, with the Paris Olympics coming up, my colleague Ruben will be joined by A System to share how much with Solidio they are leveraging Synchro 4D for the Paris Olympics. So Synchro 4D has been used in several stadiums. I included one in the case studies in the last number of years. We've some exciting content coming up highlighting how Synchro was used in other stadium projects in the past, and we think it's a really good time to talk about that with the Paris Olympics coming up. We've also got the Euros in Germany, so sporting is a massive part of infrastructure today. And then on March 27th, my colleague Glenn Belchamber will be joined by Michael Hincliffe from John Sitt to talk about how Synchro helped them negate costly rework, reduce downtime, and provide the flexibility to improve plans and save money. So I know about this project. It was quite similar to Pendex 4D project in that it was a site with lots of restraints, so logistic planning was extremely important to them. So contact us today. So let me just put my email address on the screen. You can all see that. So please feel free to email me directly. It's robert.wasson@bentley.com. Or another way you can do is you can go to our Virtuosity website, which is Bentley's eStore. On the right hand side, I've highlighted the chat box, which we have available, and you can contact us today with the help with sales support. Other things as well, we have the Synchro Construction YouTube channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, we put some great content there. And then we also have the Synchro Construction LinkedIn page. Every day there is a post, highlighting some of our upcoming webinars, some of the great case studies our users have generously provided us with, and other pieces of content. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow our LinkedIn Synchro Construction page, and you subscribe to our Synchro YouTube channel. So something quite exciting, we just launched a 2-week trial for Synchro 4D. So if you've liked what you saw today and would like to test Synchro 4D, you can request to get access to a 2-week trial. Again, I will post the all the links if they haven't already been posted by my colleague. And then the last thing I just want to highlight is my colleague Ruel last year wrote a really good blog about Synchro 4D and Navisworks. So essentially is touching on the point that we discussed today. So if you want to learn any more detail, then feel free to go and read that as well. Again, any questions or if you'd like to see Synchro 4D in more detail, more personalized session, please feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to talk to you about that. So we have a couple of minutes. If you have any questions that I may be able to answer, let me bring I see that Ruben has posted all the links here. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free. There's a lot with everybody posting, so I may miss out questions. But we had some questions come in beforehand, so people were interested. So one question to come in beforehand, and it's a question that we regularly get, is does Synchro integrate with other rendering tools? So I did mention Bentley's Luminar T, and obviously there's other rendering tools out there in the market. So yes, our users have been using third-party apps like 3D DS Max or Twinmotion that you can export the construction simulation to the SVX file and import for rendering in 3D Max or Twinmotion. Another question that we regularly get is, can we include plan progress percentage versus performance percentage complete in an exported 4D clip? And the answer is yes, you can compare progress status and do scenario comparisons all in dynamic animation. I will just check if there's any more questions. Does Bentley provide any training and certification? Yes, so with on Bentley's eStore, you can buy a Synchro 4D Virtuoso subscription. It's a 12-month subscription, and with that, you also get 5 keys or tokens that can be redeemed for some online training and content. Can we have the plugin Revit Synchro also in the trial? Yes, this is it's a free download, so you can download this for free. And so another question, is Synchro suitable for high-rise building? Yes, it's widely used in high-rise building. I would say it historically was predominantly used in high-rise buildings, and we have a lot of stadium case studies as well. So if you want to go back to the link for the case studies that we shared, and you can see there should be some examples. And the John Sis webinar coming up will be a building as well. So unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. I want to thank everybody who joined us. It's really appreciated. Again, any questions, my email is still up on the screen there, so feel free to take a screenshot and get in touch. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.